Once again, the Charles brothers and James Burroughs had to rise to a tough challenge, and they had to move fast. But how could they replace Diane when her romance with Sam had been at the heart of the show since the beginning?
The one thing we didn't want to do was try and find another Diane. We thought, if we're going to fail, let's fail going a different direction, at least trying. So we decided on I believe the prototype we were looking for at that time was Joan Collins. We wanted a pretty villainess in the bar that instead of a romantic thing, it would be a conflict.
And so the producers began auditioning replacements for Diane. They focused on a young actress named Kirstie Alley. But even after she was hired, the producers and other actors didn't know quite how she would fit in.
Well, Kirstie came on kind of like a biker chick from hell. She walked into the first table reading wearing a blonde wig, looking and dressed identically like Diane Chambers. She didn't sneak in timidly.
Kirstie Alley's Rebecca Howe was the opposite of Diane Chambers. She was Sam Malone in a skirt.
She was a raunchier human being.
And she's a character who is just much more, go get it. I want it, go get it. And so she's a match for the attitude that Sam Malone has.
She was a gold digger. She was out to climb her way, sleep her way to the top.
Over the next 6 years, Rebecca Howe's character would round out the cast of Cheers, and the series would ride high in the ratings. Cheers would become more than a TV show, an American icon until one day.
I don't think I had a darker day. In my almost 20 years at NBC, I don't think I had a darker day of when I got that call from Ted saying, I can't go on. I'm not going to be coming back.
New sneakers to help her play basketball and win a college scholarship, $26. Books to help her learn her ABCs and become a best-selling author, $30. Globe so she can learn her continents, which will come in handy when she's president, $18. Remembering to take it one day at a time, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Accept it for everything you want for your kids.
Hey, you want to switch? Sure.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Avalanche. The only vehicle that switches from an SUV to a pickup.
Good idea.
Chevy Avalanche. Like a rock.
I don't want to go jogging. I don't want to play hockey. All I want are nights with less pain, mornings with less stiffness, so Bo and I can go out early and catch up with all our friends.
Vioxx is here, a prescription medicine for osteoarthritis pain. With one little pill a day, Vioxx can provide powerful 24-hour relief. Vioxx specifically targets only the COX-2 enzyme, a key source of arthritis pain. People with allergic reactions such as asthma to aspirin or other arthritis medicines should not take Vioxx. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have liver or kidney problems. For more information, talk to your doctor about once daily Vioxx for the relief of osteoarthritis pain. And you may be able to plan your day around your life instead of your pain. Ask your doctor if Vioxx is right for you. Vioxx for everyday victories.
Next on A&E. At 9, investigative reports, followed by another investigative reports at 10.
A few horrific screams. The world was coming to an end. 15 seconds.
Only 49,063 minutes left till Minute by Minute.
Now you can subscribe to Biography magazine for almost 50% off the newsstand price. 12 issues for only $19.97. Call 1-800-901-2233 to order Biography magazine.
A&E's look at Cheers continues on Biography.
By the early 1990s, Cheers was a ratings juggernaut. Over a decade on the air, the awards were rolling in, movie careers taking off, Ted Danson in 3 Men and a Baby, Kirstie Alley in Look Who's Talking. Even the rest of the cast had become full-fledged stars, doing ads and using their high profiles to champion their favorite causes. But all that would change when Ted Danson dropped a bomb on NBC. He had made up his mind. he was leaving Cheers. This was an announcement that couldn't be fixed by introducing a new character. This meant the show was over.
It came during a time when all of us had been looking for an end. For the last 2 or 3 years, you know, groups of people would come and say, that's it. You want to do, all right, if you're going to do one more, I'll do one more. Da, da, da. But the actual pulling of the, I guess, was on my shoulders.
It was not a bolt out of the blue, no.
What was the reaction, though?
I attempted suicide. What was your...
I don't know what was going on really for them, but I met them in a hotel room where I was living at the time, and I told them what was going on in my life and what I wanted to do. And I thought about it a great deal, and it was a big deal decision for me.
I actually thought it was time to quit. 11 years is a long time for a television show. We always wanted to go out on top, you know, not have to be asked out.
I likened it to a great basketball player, a great athlete, or a great dancer who gets out while the getting's good. I thought this show's been on for a very, very long time. And before it turns bad, it's a good idea to go. So I thought it was right and graceful.
After 11 years pouring drinks at Cheers, Ted Danson had decided to move on. His life was complicated enough. His marriage had ended, and more movie roles were on the horizon. Everyone understood the decision, but that didn't mean they weren't worried.
I felt it for my job, and all of a sudden my superstar show was going to be gone, so that scared me to death. I was just scared to death.
And so the network and the producers prepared for the final episode, number 275. After 11 seasons on the air, America's favorite bar was closing. It was the last call for Cheers.
The final shoot night on the set was very emotional. That was, I didn't cry until Jimmy hugged me, and then I just started wailing. But we were emotional messes the last night we shot the last episode.
It was really sad. Wonderful performances. Rip your heart out. It all came around, and ultimately we just saw what the heart and soul of the show was. Tremendous humanity, great humor, and I think like the departure of a very, very dear friend.
The network and producers knew they had to give the series a great send-off. And so on May 20th, 1993, the entire cast and crew were flown to Boston to watch the last show at the inspiration for Cheers, the Bull and Finch. The state of Massachusetts even honored the show.
Of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts do hereby proclaim May 20th, 1993 as Cheers Day in Massachusetts.
It was really an insane night. The cast, of course, was all there. A lot of producers who'd worked on the show, producers and writers, a lot of guests who had been on the show, and it was just an enormous, huge party.
And as they celebrated, and as they cried, the alcohol started to flow freely, perhaps a little too freely, considering they all had to go on The Tonight Show immediately after.
We started the party a couple hours before the show was on the air. And I'm looking around, and food and drink are coming in on a fairly steady basis into this room. And I'm thinking, these people are going to be on The Tonight Show in 4 hours. They have 4 hours to gather their thoughts. And they're getting progressively more schnockered. I'm thinking, this is the last show. The last show is not on the television. But no, I saw disaster coming, and it came.
I mean, what do you do when you're holding a wake for a show for 11 years being together? You're holding this wake and saying goodbye in a bar. This is a big mistake.
We watched the show on the air and just got rip-roaring drunk. We were just wasted. And we were laughing and we were crying and we were pretty messy. It was a great night.
After Cheers went off the air, the show's cast moved on. Shelley Long to such films as The Brady Bunch Movie, and most recently, Dr. T and the Women. Ted Danson to a new series, Becker. Kirstie Alley to Veronica's Closet. Woody Harrelson has carved out a major film career with Natural Born Killers and The People vs. Larry Flint. Bebe Neuwirth went back to her first love, starring in Broadway's Damn Yankees and Chicago. As for Kelsey Grammer, his character, Dr. Fraser Crane, would live on in a spin-off series of his own that would become hugely successful. Today, the Bull and Finch is still Boston's #1 tourist attraction. There's even a chain of bars called Cheers. But none of them will replace the tavern where everybody knew your name. The place where the characters were like family.
I miss all those people. It is really, to a large extent, like friends of mine that I never see anymore. They become quite real to you, and I think that they became quite real to the audience too.
The power of Cheers, well, it was a wonderful ensemble, but it was also the power of great words.
I happen to think that we were a really good cast, you know? I think that makes a difference too.
I can walk into a bar full of people who are very intoxicated and I'm their buddy. I can walk by jocks and they go, hey, because I'm one of them. I'm all these things that I'm not. It turned my world into a very small town. Still to this day, I walk around with people smiling because they remember me being part of something that made them laugh. And I get to walk through life with people smiling. That's not too shabby.
There are now 17 of those airport bars named Cheers. Most of them include 2 life-size robots. One is heavy-set and was called Bob. The other wears the familiar uniform of a postal worker and went by the name Hank. When the robots came to the attention of George Wendt and John Ratzenberger, they filed suit, claiming those are their likenesses. The complaint has finally been settled. The actors prevailed, and the robots are now being disassembled. Tomorrow on Biography, Laverne and Shirley. It was born as a spin-off from Happy Days, then carved its own place in television history. The life and times of Milwaukee's finest, Laverne and Shirley, when TVography Week continues Wednesday. For Biography, I'm Harry Smith. I'll see you tomorrow.